finally did it, at least on this device.
Hmm. You went to the Google search, like the rest of the planet.
Well, I stopped using Edge.
Okay, well, that probably solved the same
I mean,
problem.
like,
Yeah.
not a direct route. It does satisfy what you just kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Okay.
I I opened it, and
Yeah.
it did the stupid thing where it grouped all my icons. I had a blue icon, I had a purple icon for the sleeping tabs, and then it
Mm.
popped up the little thing that says, "Do you want to do a shared workspace or whatever?" And it's like,
Ugh.
I don't need this in my life, Paul Thurrott.
Yep.
I just want I just wanted to go to Thurrott.com. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need the
Sure.
anger. I already need Claymore for the deer, and
I told my wife that story. I had to tell her what a claymore was, but I thought it was amusing.
well, I mean, they should pack nicely into a suitcase, so you should be able to at least get two home. Just
I can't believe what I went through security with in my bag on the way here with no questions. So yeah, I probably could bring a claymore home. And honestly, you have to think the security in Mexico City is not even as good. So yeah,
and when they ask what it's for, you're like, look, I'm into pottery. It's clay. It's
right. I would just say it's for the deer, and they'd be like, "Oh, all right."
I mean, if they've ever had a deer eat their new tree, they would absolutely understand this. Like,
Yep. I don't think that's going to be a thing with the security guard in Mexico City, but you
yeah,
may not even know what a deer is. I don't. Do they have deer in this country? I'm not even sure.
I'm sure they have something that's. I mean, maybe not.
Javelinas. you know, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. They must have deer somewhere.
I think I'd have some sort of. What are we doing? I mean,
I don't know.
which there is one thing we need to clarify from yesterday because Google or Bing or whatever led me astray. Amazon does have over 1 million employees, so
Yes, we stumbled our way through that stupid conversation.
trust me, that's not the
Yesterday.
lowest conversation.
I know. I know. It's like Paul and Brad figure it out in real time. I don't know.
Not
Yeah, they
like
do. Well, there's a win for you. That's nice.
it's a something.
I can't wait till they start getting those annoying pop-ups you're just referring to, except they get them in Word and Excel, because those things do the same thing, It's
I
gonna be
wonder
a
if
lot of
Amazon
fun.
was trying to keep that under wraps too. You ever think like they
Yeah.
probably were like, look, we'll do this, but we don't want headlines about it.
hmm I'm sure that's true of a lot of big corporate customers, right?
Well, especially Amazon, just because it's
The competitive thing, yeah. No, I
yeah,
get it. You know what? They should partner in things, right? They're not always competitors. I mean, it's
yeah. I mean,
I think I made the comment. Maybe it was on Windows Weekly. Yeah, it was. I was talking about the mobile app stores on iOS and Android, and their bad behavior and how they're exactly the same. And both of those companies will use the other to justify their behavior, right?
mhm.
And as long as they're kind of on a 50-50 split, especially here in the United States, it's like, well, what do we're doing the same thing. What's the difference? Amazon and Amazon and Microsoft could offer the same.
See, you talk bad. You talk bad
Yeah,
about
Microsoft.
Amazon.
Right? I said Microsoft and Amazon in the same sentence. Says you're okay. Okay. So, yeah, I'm gonna share with your phone for better sound. There you go. That's good. Anyway, they could use each other to justify their own
Hmm.
business practices. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll probably be like when they had what was it, Fortnite driving all the Xbox revenue. An unnamed third-party vendor drove
Right.
significant growth in revenue this quarter.
Yes. Yeah, I like that. You know what? They should do that. That would be fun.
It would be fun because we'd all know who it is. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I wonder who it could be.
well,
Interesting.
other fun things. Netflix is raising their price because they did it. Didn't they do it less than a year ago? And I guess enough people probably didn't unsubscribe, and so they're like, "Screw it, we'll do it again."
When I saw that, I wrote about it. But when I saw that story, I looked at my phone to see what plan I was on, and I actually don't have Netflix on my phone, so I forgot about that. And just before the call, on my iPad, I looked, and yeah, sure enough, because of the price hike last time, which wasn't that long ago, by the way, I had switched. I did what you did. I think this was your advice. Switched down to the 1080p plan,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is just standard HD. And whatever the changes aside from the resolution, I think it's like four device, two devices now. You can download two instead of four, which I only use
Yeah.
one anyway, and whatever. So As you predicted, I've never noticed a thing as far as the quality of it. And I mean, I'm sorry. I also noticed this, and I need to look this bit up, but it said I have been a customer since August 2009. And that's about as loyal as you can get for an online service. But it makes me wonder if that dates back to when they were doing DVDs.
Oh, certainly.
Well, I mean, in other words, is that date, like on that date, was I just using the service for DVDs?
Oh,
Maybe.
oh.
You know what I mean?
Probably.
I don't know. I have to look it up. I don't remember. I don't know when Netflix started their streaming service, so I don't know what date that reflects. But what I do know is they've raised that price a million times, and I'm getting friggin' tired of it. And this is the moment where they actually didn't raise the price of my plan, and I guess our plan, if you're on that plan. They raised the more expensive one, and then I think the one under the basic plan, which they don't even offer anymore in the U.S., but it's grandfathered for people who have it. And yeah, $21.99 for stop. Just stop. This is the moment where people are going to say stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I read I quoted this line where they said something like, you know, as we continue to add more value to our customers, sometimes we have to ask them to pay a little bit more. And what they're going to find out, I think they are, they're going to just price themselves out. And people are going to do that thing we always talk about. They're going to say, well, I'll just use one service for a little while, and it won't be you.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. It's stupid. This is stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could dump Netflix tomorrow. I'm assuming my wife watches it. I guess I should probably have that tough conversation. It's like, hey, how do you feel about Netflix? Because I don't know. We don't pay for Apple TV. We stopped paying for that. We jump in and out of that like twice a year. And maybe we flip back to that.
That one's cheaper, although that will change, you know.
Yeah.
The other thing that's interesting to look at in a Netflix story, because they quote the Nielsen data for usage. It's only in the U.S., right? So this maybe is not so interesting for people elsewhere. But Netflix is the second most popular streaming service. They don't have a big usage number, but the most popular is YouTube. And
really?
Behind them, tied for third place, are Amazon. Like, what? Have you ever looked at this service? It's garbage. Anyway, Amazon and Hulu. And then I think Disney Plus might be the one right after that. But they're all single digit. Like it's, there's no like real dominant player in this market. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm on the verge. Having just watched the most recent season of, I think it's called Lupin, the French thriller, whatever, comedy, whatever the hell it is, stupid piece of junk. Like yet another Netflix series that is really well made, beautiful to look at, and the stupidest content that's ever flowed through my brain. Like utter waste of time, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm just getting tired of this. This is what all TV shows are.
That's why I watch football, because it's partially not scripted.
There you go. Yeah, watch it while you can, man. You know? Anyway. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. That's going up. Everything's going up. Everything sucks.
Yep. Everything sucks. Exactly. That was the quote from Modern Family that I was just so perfect, and we've all said out loud, you know, everything sucks. Yep.
Oh, what else? There's not too much else going on, really. That's the...
Yeah.
There was a new build of Windows yesterday, but
Is it today? You guys are going to celebrate your 30th anniversary today?
Yes, something. That is happening. So Stardock is turning 30, and we're also releasing a game today, Galactic Civilizations 4. Which is now
dates back to the very beginnings.
Oh yeah, that is like as old as time itself.
So I talked to your boss, as you know, and I'll have a little article about this up today. But aside from just kind of going back with him, like literally 25 years or whatever, he said something that I think cuts to the heart of everything that's wrong with our world today, honestly. And by our world, I mean Windows and this whole kind of tech community and how things have changed in the wake of the iPhone or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was just that people don't want to pay for things that are useful.
Correct.
And it bothers me that you folks at Stardock may not make some products in the future, not existing products necessarily, but you look into doing new things. We don't have to get into what those are because they might not happen, but because no one will pay for them. Mm-hmm. And this is this is the dark side of the lack of engagement you get on Windows when mobile devices are so popular, because we're all sitting there, you
Yeah.
know. And I'll just give a simple example. I don't want to blow away this entire article, but back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when it doesn't matter when, one of the I think the biggest product at the time that StarDock had was window blinds,
Yep.
and other things that would kind of let you could change icons, and you could do all these little OS customization things. And today, there's no real market for that stuff. You know, people don't care about that anymore.
Hmm.
You guys are solving real problems with like Start 11, right? As you did with Start 8 back in the day, and that's good, right? And those are good businesses. But as we drift, you know, and not drift, we're gone. We've left. We're all over on the mobile side now. Like that stuff, like nobody cares anymore. You
Yeah.
know,
No, I
because
mean,
this
that's a
is
very
this
real.
isn't we, right? It's interesting. It's an interesting slice of history that I just in the course of talking to him kind of coalesced in my mind as you know, like a retroactively obvious thing. Like, of course, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, there was a very real time in the Windows history. This was prior to me starting at StarDock. It's actually how I found them, where people
yeah,
were trying to make Windows look like Mac
that's right.
OS. That was
That's
a
exactly right.
very big
Yep.
movement in that scene, and like that doesn't really happen anymore.
No, no. And Dell even had a UI thing that was like the Mac OS dock back in that time period. Same thing. They put it on their PCs, you know, for a little while.
Hmm.
It was a big deal. And remember the QuickTime app, and it had that brushed metal look, right? You know, people wanted that look on everything
Yep.
for some reason, right? For 10 seconds. Um, yep. Yeah. I don't think that people, and of course, you know, Microsoft, they completely like just neutered the UI technologies they have. So it's probably a lot harder to do that stuff today anyway, even if you wanted to do it.
Hmm.
It's not as easy as it used to be. That used to be a big focus.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyway, interesting stuff. Yeah,
People paying for Windows apps is always a
struggle. Yeah. To me, it's funny. This actually relates to the Netflix
Mhm.
conversation, because it's very important, especially in this age, but it's just important to support the people or the companies that make the content that you rely on or whatever. And I think you can add software is content, right? In a way, right?
Yeah.
But if you use a tool and it improves your life, you know, and you use it, I mean, I don't understand not only not paying for it, but happily paying for it. I mean, I know we're not rich, but the things that, you know, your software in particular it's not expensive,
No,
you know,
it's
and complaining about something that costs $5 or $10 or whatever is the dumbest thing I've ever heard if you love it and rely on it. And whether it's, you know, content on a website or a book that I might write, or the Riff Track guys making videos, or these services that we pay for that are getting more and more expensive, you know.
hmm
Everyone wants to make that comparison, like it costs less than a coffee at Starbucks or whatever. I don't go there either, so I don't. That doesn't mean anything to me. But I
right.
think it's important. And and talking to Brad, the other Brad, Brad Wardell, it was a very interesting reminder about this, because I think you guys, well, I've always and do today do good work, you know, and you should, like any other creator, should be rewarded for that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. It's well, I tweeted about it since we're working on a huge update for Start 11. Like probably
Right.
other than Start 8, which was a new product, this is probably
Sure.
the biggest update we've ever done for a product. It's got a lot of new stuff, a lot of cool stuff coming. And
Right.
the question becomes, it's like, okay, can we charge $2 for this? Not $2 a month, not $2
Yeah.
a year, but quite
Yep.
literally $2-3 for this update.
Yep.
And the reality
Two
is
people have already paid for it, you mean? In other words, because what's going to happen is people are going to say, "What the hell? I paid for this."
Right.
This is the problem I have with the books, right?
Yep.
You have a book, you support it for several years in some cases, and it's like, when do you draw the line? And when do you finally say, "Look, this is required. We're spending money on this like it's an investment," you know?
Yeah, one of the things that people, and I'm sure I've talked about it on here, don't realize is that if you've purchased Start 11, you've actually pretty much gotten 2 apps already, because we had to do a significant amount of work when they just swapped out the system tray. Like
Right.
we didn't
Right.
charge for a new version. Like we had to do a ton of work with that.
And then pray
they
to God
threw
they
in-
don't change it again. That's the problem. They keep changing things. right? I mean, the taskbar on Windows 11, which is in the start menu, brand new interfaces. There's not like a little bit of legacy anything behind it. That like it's not like a new UI on top of old stuff. It's literally written from scratch. And the problem with that for you guys, and actually for users too, right, is that they keep changing it. They add to it, and sometimes they take away from it, and you don't know what you can rely on being there, and you could wake up one day and your product just doesn't work.
Oh, that's the nightmare scenario. That's why every time they ship a new build, like every day, we're like,
you're like,
is this the one?
Clenched a little bit. Yep, here we go.
So, anyways, that's coming. We'll chat more about that.
Yep, that drama's on the way. So it will be interesting to see how you resolve that.